What's up guys, welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. Today is a back workout, but with mostly rows, which is great for the back thickness. And also, I will be doing a modified bicep routine to strengthen your bicep tendons. And this is because there's a lot of people out there with bicep tendon inflammation or irritation, and we ought to fix that. Anyway, starting out with the seated row. The seated row to me is one of my favorite rowing exercises because it doesn't only work the back thickness, but in my opinion also the back width. I've said it many times, Arnold, Ronnie Coleman, all the major bodybuilders basically do this row. So don't keep your back in a straight, fixed position, but actually stretch it out and stretch out those lats. I don't want you to stop stretching those lats until you actually feel them stretch. So don't just do the movement, but go for the feeling, the mind-muscle connection. Then it is time for the T-bar row, a machine version, but this actually makes it more difficult to cheat, in my opinion, and the weight just feels heavier compared to the barbell version. But the barbell version is just as awesome. But as you can see in my range of motion right here is that I go all the way down just on the seated row. I don't understand. The seated row and the T-bar row are very much alike, yet everybody does a T-bar row upright. So that's what I don't understand. Just do a full range of motion. Yes, you cannot do as much weight, which is probably why people do it with their traps, but you really want to work your back if you want a wide as possible back. And then it is time for the high row. It's a machine, but sometimes machines are great too, to get a deeper stretch than usual and to expose your muscles to a different angle and range of motion. So here it is really all about the stretch and the contraction, usually at the lat pull down, which is also kind of like a pull down like this, but this is a version that combines a pull down with a row because of this particular angle. But what you really feel here is when you contract it, the lats attaching to your lower lats. The lower latch attachment to your body, basically, that's what you feel contracting, and that's what you want to fill up to get that V shape to extreme proportions. And then I wanted to show you a unilateral high row, which is the last set actually of this exercise to finish with. And I do that because with two arms at the same time, you cannot go as deep as with one arm. You probably experienced it with dumbbell rows before, for example. But you can do the same with machines. You can angle your body just a little bit differently, you have more range of motion, and you can contract your muscles harder. So I definitely want you to try out a unilateral movement on back day after doing all the sets regularly. And then we arrive at the good old classic lat pull down in front of the body. I told you I was mostly going to work on back thickness, but we cannot neglect the back width for that V shape. If you look at my back through my shirt, you can see that I'm really using the back muscles to pull the weight and as least arms as possible, and that's because I don't want to involve the biceps as much in the movement, because actually going heavy, too heavy on that pull down can damage your bicep tendon because your arm is in a sensitive spot right now, in a pronated position your bicep is, and that is a sensitive part where the tendon is easily injured. And the next exercise, which is one of my favorite all-time back exercises, the V-bar pull down. And if you look closely, I'm trying to pull the pulley to my upper chest or my chest area rather than my abdominal area, and this is to target the upper back thickness. So if you want to improve your traps and if you want to improve the 3D effect on the back, I definitely recommend you do this exercise. Also, try to use minimal momentum. The weight on the stack doesn't matter. It's all about what your muscles feel. If you want to prevent injury, do as little weight as possible with as much trouble, effort as possible. But you can still do some pretty heavy weight after a while when you get used to that movement. And now I want to talk to you guys about some bicep information. I'm doing the preacher dumbbell curl right here in kind of a slow fashion, a slow range of motion, kind of focusing on the eccentric with a light weight as well. First of all, as I just mentioned, a lighter weight with a longer duration of the range of the motion will feel heavier. It doesn't require a heavy weight, but that's not why I'm doing it right now. The bicep that just was working is kind of a little damaged near the distal bicep tendon. The right one, as you can see, moves a lot more fluently, and the bicep itself is able to contract harder as well. I've pretty much lost about 20% of contraction strength in my left arm due to simply not being able to do it comfortably without pain. So to avoid that, my body automatically stops contracting all the motor units in that muscle in order for the tendon to heal. And this is where your effort comes in. A lot of studies, well, there hasn't been a lot of studies on this, but eccentric work works the best to repair any tendon pain, tendinitis, of course combined with proper nutrition and rest. But the eccentric movement causes more strain actually on the tendon without improving the workload. And this causes the tendon to strengthen up. It's actually a process that you can undergo to strengthen your tendons, which is why I recommend everybody to go slow on the bench press, for example. It's healthy for the shoulder joints, for all the muscles, to prevent tears. And now I'm simply experiencing it with my left bicep, which honestly, it just sucks. I can contract it, but when I push onto it with my index finger, you just feel that it's not as hard as the right arm. It may sound strange, but it's true. So what I'm doing right now is bicep exercises that focus on fixing the biceps while still being able to get a good pump. And that's by, as you can see, isometric contractions, pause reps, slow eccentrics, just like I'm doing right here, and it doesn't require a lot of weight for it to be difficult at all. Now what Kane is doing right here is hammer curls. Hammer curls for me are pretty much a no for me right now, because that's exactly the hand position that hurts it for me the most, which is the same hand position if you imagine doing a lat pull down. It's kind of a pronated grip, which lengthens the bicep more and puts it under a larger stress, at least that specific tendon. Now I know a lot of you guys don't feel anything like this, but trust me, I haven't felt it in 7 years. Then I do one heavy exercise and kaboom, there it is. So watch out when throwing the weights. It's not necessary. I've never really done that to really get full round muscles. It's all about time under tension, mind-muscle connection, and a full range of motion. And right here, the rope hammer curls I am able to do. It is kind of a pronated grip, but because of the different tension that this rope provides, different angle, I can really work the brachialis, which is underneath the bicep, instead of really purely working that bicep tendon by including the other heads, which would put more stress on it. Anyway guys, I've been pretty busy lately with my minor sports nutrition, but I will do a video series on what I learned during this minor. And the minor is basically an addition to your study, and I'm really getting an in-depth study on minor about sports nutrition, and it really applies to strength training and bodybuilding as well. So that's why I haven't really been able to do a lot of videos, but I will be outputting more videos very soon with a much higher quality. Please don't forget to like this video. Liking, actually, which I recently learned, really helps putting the video out there, and I would really appreciate it if you could do it on this video. Anyway, guys, I thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.